One, two, three, the lawn feed. Welcome back to the Lawn Feed Podcast. I'm Andrew, and with me today I have Chris. We are getting into pretty much winter at this point, at least for the two of us up in the north. Chris is practically in Canada, so November pretty much means winter for him. But today we are going to just be talking about wins and losses from our season. Before I get into that, let's go back a little bit. We have a merch store. We got some nice hoodies going up in there. Chris is wearing one right now, the It's Mo Time hoodie. So head over to the lawnfeed.com, check out some of that swag, and get one for yourself before it gets too cold in your neck of the woods.
Gotta stay warm. You gotta stay warm.
For sure. But, we are missing our third partner in crime, Vince. He is coughing up a lung right now.
He may or may not be alive. We don't know.
Yeah, we checked on him earlier today. We did our part there, but he said he couldn't make it. So show must go on, and if we waited for him, it might be dog days of winter by then. So, let's hop right into this. Chris, let's go over some dad wins and losses for you, man. Life at home. It's cold outside. We're stuck inside with the kids more. So, what do you got for us?
Yeah, man. It's coming quick. I think it's funny you said we're right in the kind of thick of things with winter, and this year is different for us. We last year we had a cold snap, and it didn't snow for what seemed like months. And then it finally snowed, and this year's so different. It was like we were outside doing all of the yard work in 60-degree weather, and the next weekend it was like, boom, winter's here. It snowed. It did the whole 14-degree thing. It was crazy. So, some projects are certainly left undone, and I'm probably not alone in that boat for sure. But
No.
from a parenting standpoint, and come winter, it's hockey season up here and all of that fun stuff. And
Yeah, buddy.
We're big Gopher hockey fans, and I've been going to those games since I was a little kid. And I finally got my oldest to kind of hop on board, with the COVID stuff and all, everything that kind of just happened over the past 2 years. He hasn't had a real good shot at going to those games for this, that, or the other thing. And timing wasn't right or whatever. And, we finally got, him to a couple of the games, and just to see his eyes light up over just that environment and, packed houses, full stadiums again, and, sports, and just the excitement of being almost 6-year-old, cheering for your favorite team it's pretty fun to watch.
And Dad's favorite team. I mean, that's gotta be cool for him, right?
Yeah, that's the super cool part, and it's Papa's favorite team too.
Yeah.
And he was there, and so there was kind of the 3 generations sitting right there. So,
and nothing beats the atmosphere of college hockey. I can say that it's amazing.
Something special, man. It's NHL's cool.
Right.
Junior hockey's cool, and it kind of matches some, maybe not junior hockey, but certainly those maybe the lower tiers, the farm systems,
Sure.
AHL, things like that. But like, there's just something different with college.
Student section, the band, it's a different crowd for sure.
It's really cool. It's really cool. So that was certainly a win. Losses, I gotta be honest, I haven't had a whole lot of losses, which is a good thing. I feel like we were stringing together a lot of L's. So no, it's good. We had parent teacher conferences for our youngest, and some things to work on. I think from back home, it's just kind of understanding, okay, what can we do better as parents? And things. He's doing great, but it's kind of that self-reflection of like, okay, did we give it our all this past 6 months since the last parent teacher conference? And okay, we back to the drawing board on a few things, and we're there. But such is life. But how about you, man? And anything stick out for you?
No, not particularly. We had a cool experience. I think it was last weekend. I don't know. I lost track of time, but we took our kids to what was it called? Jurassic Quest or something like that. We drove 45 minutes to Grand Rapids, and big convention center. They have like life-size dinosaurs, and a lot of them are like like robotic and move and make noise. And my son is obsessed with dinosaurs, so it was either going to be one of those things where he's going to be absolutely terrified and it was going to be a terrible experience, which we were like 50-50 with it, but he loved it, and so did my daughter. So
That's so cool.
that was a really cool experience. And now just no losses really stick out, just the little things day to day of losing patience and whatnot. But that's
Yeah.
part of being a parent for sure. But
Yeah, no doubt. No
now
doubt.
first off, we're dads, but we're also lawn dads. So let's talk about our wins and losses as lawn dads this year. Not necessarily even your lawn, I guess. There's a lot more to taking care of a property. You have
Yeah.
bushes and flowers and a landscaping of different sorts. So
Got to keep your bush trimmed. Got to keep your bush trimmed.
we're getting
Neighbors
right
might
into
get upset. All
getting
right.
right into one of my losses already. All right. No joke. It's on my list.
Oh man,
But
that's funny.
do you want to start with some positives? Do you want to hit the negatives? Are you like a glass half full guy, or
Yeah, I try to be, especially with hobbies and stuff. And, lawn care is such an interesting thing because and just yard property maintenance in general, just being a homeowner, it's just, you're not always going to win. And I look at it as one huge learning experience, no matter how advanced, intermediate, or even if you're just starting out. Like, I would probably consider myself kind of in that intermediate stage, looking into like the advanced stage in some pieces of the lawn care side of things,
Sure.
right? That's at least just where I have my self critique at. And I think I learned so much this year in comparison to the other years. And just with everything that was, kind of handed to us this year on my side, it of course from like the glass, half empty side, I didn't get to do a lot of what I had planned, and keep track of it as closely as I probably wanted to. So like consistency this year for me was like out the window.
Mm-hmm.
And like life just happened, which is fine. Curveballs happen and you just you roll with the punches. But the things that I learned really, really well, this year was what I'm applying, and why I'm applying it. And then like
Sure.
when I have to apply it type of thing. And like there's a reason and a rhyme for reason for everything that you're doing, instead of just guessing and just like throwing it down, opening a bag and just like doing it. Like
Right.
seeing the results from like a strategic, like, okay, I need to do this and here's why, or I don't need to do this when I was thinking I should do it, because I'm going to do more damage than good. I think that there's a lot to be said with that. And so I think I grew like more mature,
Sure.
this year, where I would, in previous years, I would have been like really, really anxious and just like not patient, at all. But like kind of following a plan, even though it wasn't consistent, I think was probably one of the biggest wins for me. But how about you, man?
Yeah, I mean, I had a very specific plan written down going into this year. I calculated everything out for fertilizer applications, and I did a really good job with my granular applications, which were like my big applications that I do. Everything that's like a liquid is just kind of like a supplement, supplementary to the other stuff, right? But there was even I was going like a few weeks off of my schedule for granular. Like you said, life is just busy. It is as hard to stick to a schedule. Um, I think time management is still something that I'm trying to figure out with having, a full-time job, kids, other responsibilities, and then trying to find time out in the lawn. At least in the summertime, it's light out till 10 o'clock at night. So I'm out there, with the kids have been asleep for 2 hours already. Like that's when, it gets later in the year, like late October or mid-October, and it's 5:30, 6 o'clock, and I'm just getting home from work and I haven't even had dinner and it's dark. And so
It's tough.
it's
Your
in
night
fall
gets cut in half.
it does. And fall is, that's when I had a couple other things planned to do. I wanted to do like another application of something. And I kind of neglected a lot of my liquid applications that I wanted to do this year, just because, like you said, it's all about timing. It's about really just applying things when they should be applied, and whether it was way too windy and I couldn't backpack spray, or it was raining and then the next day I was busy, and then every opportunity you have, or you just lose motivation, you're like, whatever, I don't need to do it. But I think you and I both were probably at a point where it's like a lot of those applications are definitely not necessary by any means, but we would like to do them to help
Yeah.
push it to the next level. And so I think deep down, like the first couple times I kind of pushed things, I was just like, it kind of beat myself up a little. But after a while, I'm just like, dude, like nothing is gonna change. You're fine. If anything, you're gonna save some money because you have product for next year. You know,
Yeah.
so
Yeah, no
um,
doubt.
and
Which do you like doing? Is it do you like the granular just because it's kind of,
I
you
I
set it and forget it, or do you
I
like
like
the liquids?
I like spraying stuff just because I feel like you get a faster result from it.
Sure.
But I would say like if I had to choose, I would say granular just because I can go out there and I can measure a 50-pound bag of product and put it on my lawn and be out there for 20 minutes versus like when I backpack spray, I measure out the three parts of my lawn, my front yard, backyard, and my side yard. And then I spray them individually and then I refill. Then at the end, you got to clean out the tank. You know, I feel like I'm out there for an hour every time I do.
Yeah, I would
And
agree.
I'm so unorganized in my garage halfway through the year, I can't find half the crap that I need. So I'm sitting there looking for, the thing I put in my drill to stir everything with. It's just, if it's not one thing, it's the other. And then
Yeah.
I feel like you're out there for 20 minutes and I'm getting yelled at to come inside to help with something. And so it's just, I don't know, it just feels like a hinder sometimes. So I think that's why I neglected a lot of those applications. And I would totally do a hose end, but when I do my liquid applications, I like to try to, put a few things together so I don't have to do it as often.
Yeah.
I put down some iron with some humic or something. I'm trying to, make a 2-for-1 or 3-for-1 spray versus being out
Cocktails
there.
good fun.
Cocktails.
Cocktails are
Yeah.
fun.
Yep.
That was actually one thing that I had not planned on doing this year that I actually found myself doing a lot was hose end spraying.
Yeah.
And like just from a time management, I would take like one I would do one let's say it was like in the middle of the summer and all that. Let's just say it was like I did one thing on one night of the week, and then I just planned on doing 2 or 3 other nights that week, where it just worked, and that's how it went.
Right. I maybe I need to start considering just hose on spraying, twice in a week versus, you know, backpack spraying once every couple of weeks. I don't know, but that's
Yeah,
something to consider.
you're out there more, but I just found it easier, just because you don't have to deal with all of that stuff. You got a friend. What's up?
Yeah,
You got a little. We got a guest on the
we have a
show.
guest. Hang on, let me figure out what's happening here. What's up,
You're,
baby?
you're good.
All right, I'll be right back, Chris.
Yeah, go ahead, buddy. And this is one of the best parts about being a parent is that you get these interruptions when you're not expecting them, but it's cool. And we just wing it. So, voila. Being a dad is sweet.
So, is there anything else that you consider a positive from this year that like really sticks out in your mind?
Like highlights. Yeah,
Yeah.
I think my biggest highlight was a fall overseeding by far. And it's interesting because I actually did 2 projects, one on the front and then one in the backyard. So my spring and on the spring, I did a lawn leveling project to the best of my abilities that I was able to do by myself with very limited tools.
In spring.
And spring, and yeah, which causes a lot of issues too, but we got through it. And did a lawn leveling, kind of top dressing, and then overseed project, which huge learning experience for myself in the spring. It always is. There's always something that goes different than the years previous, so that was something. But then I did the backyard in the fall, like a proper overseeding,
Right.
in the best time to do an overseed project in the fall. And it was like a 10 out of 10. Everything went right. Everything everything just landed where it needed to go, which was really, really cool. So I'm anxious to see how everything survives, even the spring side, what I did up front over the winter. But it was pretty successful, overall, all things considered. But how about you? What's
No,
your
I had my overseed as a success too. I saw a huge difference. Like you do an overseed and you're like, ah, cool, the grass came in, but it takes a little time for everything to mature and really start to fill in. And it got to a point where it was the temps were starting to get a little bit colder and things were slowing down. And I kind of went out there. I'm just kind of putting my hand through the grass, and I'm like, wow, this is a lot thicker in areas that I didn't realize that it was. And so I'm super happy with that. Um, and I was kind of in the same boat. I did a lot of stuff in the spring as well in my front yard because of snow, mold, and I think grub damage from the following fall. And, that all came in really, really well. And then add my fall overseed on top of that with it. And my front yard's looking really great. Something I really want to work on for next year is trying to get things a little more level.
Yeah.
I'm hoping to not really having to do any seeding or very limited seeding next year. I'd like to almost play in the fall with like a pre-emergent versus overseeding, because I do have some Poa annua that pops up in areas. So that pre-emergent in the fall should take care of that. And, but we'll see. We'll just have to assess and, go from there. But
It's always surprises.
Yeah, for sure. Like I wasn't planning on the snow, mold, and actually killing off lawns. So I wasn't planning on doing that this spring. So we shall see. But, other success that I had, which is not really lawn related, is, I tore out about 1,000 square feet of turf and put in the playground for the kids and the planter boxes. And that project turned out really well. I mean, it was one of those projects that took a long time. Well, particularly the putting together the play set. 10 out of 10, don't recommend that. But you will be pushed by your wife to do it. So just do it. But beer helps.
Beer helps a lot.
Helps. But yeah, so for everybody that doesn't know, I put in a swing set, play set for my kids, and I took out 1,000 square feet of turf, and I mulched the whole thing. And there's a couple of planter boxes that made for my wife, and so she has a little garden and some flowers and stuff in there. And it's not only less for me to manage now, it's very functional and it looks nice. And so next up on our schedule is to hopefully get our fence replaced next year. And that should really make the backyard look a lot nicer, because right now it is literally falling apart in places. It's so bad.
Yeah.
So
that's why fences are an interesting deal. Yeah, I mean,
I
thought that yeah, they are. Yeah, they are. I thought that project turned out really good, considering I know the work that you put into it, because I'm a victim of like getting all of like the venting text from you as you're doing it, and like, this is never do this ever.
Yeah.
But in hindsight, it's 2020, right? But no, right. I think that turned out really cool, and kids love it too, right?
Yeah, they do.
Just sweet. So
yeah,
that's what it's all about.
Now, question for you. Like, I mean, I've been to your house. I was lucky enough to stop by and pay a visit for a few hours. But like, I guess I know you're a landscaping guy. Like, are your flower beds like weed free year round, or do you let them go? Like,
no, we're out there pulling stuff pretty much left and right. I try not to use Roundup as much as like I need to or whatever it is, but inevitably I'm out there, and that it's crazy because we have a paper patio and for the patio out in the backyard, and the amount of class 5 that is underneath that is insane. And I am still shocked to this day how many weeds pop through that thing. Just like how? And that's just one of those things where, you thought, when you were doing it, there's like, there's nothing ever going to pop through. And inevitably, like, it's just filled with it. So, no, with flower beds, we're constantly out there. So it's just kind of picking it when they come.
Yeah. But that's one huge failure for us this season. I say us because like my wife likes to go out there and do a lot of stuff. Like in the springtime, she had me put in a ton of flowers out front by our front walkway and stuff like that, and had it all, nice for a while. But we didn't put any kind of pre-emergent down in those beds, and we just got busy, and I was so focused on the lawn and other projects that those all got neglected. And even the pruning of the bushes, which goes back to your first thing you said, like trim your bushes. And the other thing is, like, I don't have like a power trimmer or anything like that. Like, so I think I was planning on getting one this year, and I just never did. So therefore, I never took care of those bushes, and my wife never complained about them. So they just went undone.
Okay, it's every other year where I actually trim a bush in my yard. Not that I have many, but
I have a couple that just like get really overgrown and unsightly, but they're kind of in a part of our house where not many people can even see it. So it's all good. But the weeds and stuff, I'm definitely gonna up my game of putting down some pre-emergent in the garden beds next year. See if that helps, and if not, at least getting down there and trying to regularly pull them out by hand. So
What's on tap for next year? So you got your wins and your highlights this year. You mentioned pre-emergent, next year and kind of having
yeah,
an overseed free, season for once. But what's the thing you're eyeing for next year that you're looking forward to?
you know what? I really don't know, to be honest. I really just want to kind of just maintain and just kind of have it be completely stress free. Not that any of this stuff is stressful, but it's like the further I get along in this process of taking care of a lawn properly, and really knowing what you're doing for the most part, which is, been 3 years for me now. My lawn is kind of taking care of itself to a point,
Mm-hmm.
and so my goal for next year is just to kind of just keep it going and not have to overdo it and feel like I need to do anything drastic. Um,
Yeah, that's
but
awesome.
but like we said, we'll have to assess. But how about you?
Yeah, it's that I think it's going to be, finally an overseed free season, which is good. And if I do, it'll be in the fall, so I'm not dealing with a lot of spring stuff. I really want to take my front yard short, so I'm going to be doing a lot of leveling work in the spring for sure. And I think inevitably there's probably, now that I think about it, probably going to be some seed work there. Even though I really don't want to, but I was at, max height of like 2 inches out there, and it's Kentucky bluegrass perennial ryegrass, so I like to keep it a little bit short. But I'm trying to smooth that thing out as flat as humanly possible, to either go a little bit shorter with a rotary or take that next step and explore some real options for
I
the
was going to
front. So
ask you, is
we'll see.
real happening? Are
I
you
want
getting
to.
real?
I want to. We're home enough where I think I can pull it off.
The
But we're
minute you say that,
staring.
the kids
I
are
know.
getting into activities, and you're never home on the weekends. And
I was just about to say that. Like we're staring down the barrel of like 6, 7, and 8 years old, and
you
like
don't know what's
we're just
coming.
screwed. Like we're screwed. Like I just know that
I
that's gonna
know.
bite me in the ass. But you can always go
Yeah.
backwards. You can always fall back. But
Yeah.
um, yeah, once you're there, you got to commit to it. So it would only be the front. I couldn't do the whole thing, but we'll see what
I
happens.
would love to do like a putting green in the backyard or something.
That'd be cool.
Yeah.
There's a
Um,
couple of people that like this year was the year that they wanted to do putting greens in the backyard.
yeah.
Like there, I've seen a lot of them floating around.
Yeah. I saw
Um,
Jimmy Lewis has one, Yard Hard. Yeah,
yeah,
there's a couple of them out there, and yeah, I just don't see myself like being able to real mow like a part of my yard necessarily. But if I got a real mower, for cheap or whatever, I could probably
for cheap.
figure out
That's
something to
funny.
do with it. Yeah, like if the local golf course went out of business
Yeah,
and they were like, "Hey, you want a lawnmower?"
yeah,
I was like, yeah, cool, thanks for thinking of me.
yeah.
So
Exactly, exactly. Which like is an underrated thing for those who are actually considering it. It's like find and now is probably the time, right when as we're
right,
recording this, as we're staring down the barrel of the winter,
yeah,
to like ask around because like the leases all end up, and they're buying new equipment here and there and getting rid of the
for
old.
sure.
You can find some deals. So
For sure, and that goes for all equipment. Yeah, I mean,
yeah,
people are trying to make room in their shed for winter and stuff like that. Some people may be trying to offload some stuff for cheap. So good
the
time for
golf
that.
courses are just like the rest of us.
Yeah, just on a larger scale, and they really know what they're doing. Hopefully, but
It's true.
one thing I really want to maybe try to do next year is I probably won't be able to do it, but I've always said this. I want to train my dogs to go to the bathroom in a different area, like a certain area, or have them go in the big mulch area that I just made with the swing set. Because regardless of what I do, I will have to do a backyard renovation in the fall because I do that every single year to make up for what those dogs do all year long. So
Stuff.
yeah. So I mean, I just plan on that every single year, and hopefully beyond that, nothing else. But we'll see. They have a dog door and access to the backyard 24/7, so it's really hard to train them per se when they
Yeah.
have that much freedom. So
Yeah.
might have to get
You,
creative and spend some time with them. So
yeah. It's the one thing I don't have as a dog. So it's have that luxury of not having to do that. But yes, I can
yeah,
certainly understand the frustration and how hard that could be.
Yeah, but
because that would
between
drive me absolutely
fall,
insane.
between the midsummer to late summer into fall, the yard looks terrible because by that point they've killed it with their urine. The overseed comes in really nice, and then they kind of start killing it off a little bit, and you're like, great, there's some spots showing again, and then you're out there trying to pick up all the leaves, and you can't see all the dog poop underneath. That's the worst. My lawnmower, I feel so bad for it, dude. The tires just get like, I go out there and I look for it. I use a leaf blower. I try to expose it all and find it, and
Nope.
it still finds me, dude. 260-pound dogs. Yeah, they go a lot. Let's just say that.
It's a lot of presence in the lawn. A lot of presence.
Yep. So, hey, real quick, what's in store for you this winter, man? You got any cool toys to play with? Anything you still plan on pumping out content for people to look at all winter long? I know you're the grass and snow guy or whatever you call yourself. So.
Yeah, and so for sure. I mean, being up here in Minnesota, it's you got to kind of embrace winter, and if you don't, you're in trouble. You got to find some outdoor activities and things like that. So yeah, it'll be a little bit more geared towards like the Minnesota upper Midwest kind of lifestyle in the winter and all that stuff. But got some new toys to play around with, and we'll kind of showcase those during the snowstorms and all of that fun stuff. But there's kind of taking a 30,000 level foot view of like what people actually want, and people like to learn things in the off season, so they're prepared for next year. So there's going to be a lot of lawn stuff coming down the pipeline too, of just quick snippets from like A to Z. Here's a quick lawn tip, and different categories, so you can kind of take it in bite-sized chunks and go from there. So in theory, if you watch my account or do something like that, I would love to be able to say you can renovate your whole yard or do what you want with your lawn, no matter the level. So that's at least my goal, and how that happens is, I think, still to be determined, but that's at least the goal. So how about you?
Yeah, no, I plan to be out there in the driveway, whether showcasing me shoveling or snow blowing or whatever, or acting like I'm talking to my imaginary neighbor.
Those slap, by the way. Yeah, they're funny as shit.
I appreciate that. I got to get really creative with the winter because I had a few different videos lined up for like fall stuff, and all of a sudden it's snowing outside, so I had to pivot. Right. So, but
no, they're funny.
I definitely like humor. That's me. Like that's just who I am. I'm a lawn guy too, so I want to stay true to that. So I try to always tie that into all my content. So, but I think I'm gonna try to do some humor stuff, and but also sprinkle in some educational stuff for you guys too. With good resources backed behind them. So, but yeah, if I can make you laugh and learn something, I've done my job as far as what I've set out to do. So, but yeah,
I love it. It'll be spring before we know it.
God, it better be. It better be. Actually, it will. It will. I'm already thinking. I'm like, dude, Christmas feels like it's so close. Yeah. Thanksgiving's days away. You got any big plans?
Going to the in-laws. Going to Illinois, which is cool. Get to meet my nephew. So I get to see my niece, who we've met before but haven't seen her in a long time, and then I get to meet my newest nephew for the first time, which will be super awesome. So they've got 3 kids of their own, and there's gonna, I think, 7 kids for all around the same age, just kind of palling around. So it's gonna be just one giant pal around party for the kids. It's gonna be awesome.
Yeah, that's awesome, man.
So
it's holidays
sticking
are
around.
Crazy. I am. I'm actually, I work in healthcare, as you know, and so it's actually my holiday to be on call. So I'm on call all day for the holiday Thursday, and the entire weekend. So we spend usually the holiday with my family and my siblings, and then the weekend we spend with my in-laws and their families. So I'm just hoping that I'm able to be around for dinner time and stuff like that. The important stuff for the holidays, to actually get the holiday experience and not have to be at work. So, but it is what it is. Power through it. And I got called in on Christmas morning last year because that was my holiday. That sucked. But, that's the life I chose, and it's rewarding work that I do. So it is what it is. Yeah,
Well,
man.
but we're filming this, I think, 2 days before or 3 days before Thanksgiving or whatever it is. So this is going to come out after Thanksgiving. But
For sure.
from on behalf of everybody at the Lawn Feed and just in our circle, we have a lot to be thankful for. And you guys listening, shout out to you guys on listening on wherever you guys are listening, car, podcast, whatever. Watching and just following all of us and engaging with us, and we've come a really long way in a very short amount of time in this cool little lawn care community, and we've met a lot of cool people, and it's just very rewarding on this side of the screen and the microphone to kind of have these connections and do all of these things. And I know Vince isn't here, and he would say the exact same thing, and we're all just very thankful of where we're at, who we've met, all that stuff. So thank you for everybody. Thanks for all the support. And to our family, or from our family to your guys's, hope you guys enjoy Thanksgiving, time with family, time away, and the holiday season, because that's all what it's about, taking a step back and enjoying it. So
for sure. Yeah. Happy holidays to everybody. And appreciate you guys continuing just to support us. We have a lot of cool stuff planned for the future, so bear with us. And this winter, we just hope to have some cool people on to talk to, and we'll go from there and get back into the swing of things with the lawn-related stuff very, very soon. On behalf of Chris and I, we thank you guys for listening, for watching. Head over to thelawnfeed.com. Brad15 will get you 15% off anything, your entire order in the merch store. Be safe, and we'll see you guys in the next one. See ya.
Bye-bye.